All right, get ready because we are diving deep into Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, a classic.
It really is.
Yeah.
This book has been a bestseller for decades,
And for good reason.
and for good reason. Hill spent over 20 years interviewing over 500 wildly successful people,
Wow.
from business titans to inventors,
Yeah.
to figure out what made them tick.
It's interesting, though, that Hill doesn't just give you like a formula or a recipe or anything.
Right.
It's more of a compelling narrative
Yeah.
with stories of both triumph and failure to illustrate these principles he's uncovering.
Yeah, and honestly, it makes you want to devour it even faster because he keeps dangling this mysterious secret throughout the whole book.
Right.
So is it some kind of magic formula? A hidden code? Like, what is it?
Well, I think after reading it, Hill's pointing to something a lot deeper than just like a formula or a code or something like that. I think he's saying that the secret lies in understanding and harnessing the power of your own mind.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. One of the things that Hill really hammers home is the importance of burning desire as the starting point for any achievement.
Right.
He argues that it's not enough to just casually want something.
Right. You need a desire that just consumes you,
Yeah.
pushes you beyond your comfort zone.
And he even uses the story of Edwin Barnes to illustrate this point.
Barnes, what a fantastic example. He desperately wanted to work with Thomas Edison, not even just for him.
Right.
So he shows up at Edison's lab, no money, no guarantees, willing to take any job just to be in that environment.
It's incredible. And what's even more amazing is that it actually worked.
Yeah.
5 years later,
Wow.
Barnes finally gets his chance to work alongside Edison.
Yeah.
Because his desire was so laser-focused.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what is your burning desire?
Right.
Is it something you're just passively hoping for?
Right.
Or are you willing to pursue it with that same level of, like, relentless determination?
Absolutely.
Because Hill seems to suggest that the intensity of your desire directly correlates to your likelihood of success.
Yeah. And this ties into another point that Hill makes, that defeat is not the opposite of success,
Okay.
but it's rather a stepping stone on the path towards it.
Okay.
And he uses the story of Darby, the insurance salesman,
Oh, yeah.
who learned about persistence from a rather
Dramatic experience.
traumatic experience.
Yeah, Darby's story is a wild one.
Oh, yeah.
He literally quit digging for gold just 3 feet from striking it rich.
Imagine that. Oh, the frustration.
That didn't go.
Just giving up right before the breakthrough.
I know.
But that experience taught him the importance of persistence, a lesson he later applied to become a successful insurance salesman.
So what's your 3 feet from gold moment? Think about a time when you gave up on something too soon or a setback that you could have reframed as an opportunity for growth.
Right.
Hill's message is clear. Don't let setbacks define you.
Yeah.
View them as valuable lessons that can propel you towards future success.
It's all about shifting that perspective
It really is.
and learning from those experiences.
Now, Hill also delves into some pretty unconventional territory.
Oh, yeah.
Like the transmutation of sexual energy into creative force.
Oh.
And I feel like this might raise a few eyebrows for people.
It certainly did for me, but remember, he was writing in a different era.
Right.
So I think what he's getting at is the idea that raw energy, passion, and drive, regardless of where it comes from, can be channeled into productive pursuits.
Okay.
He even argues that highly sexed people make the best salespeople because of something he calls personal magnetism.
Okay, so how literally should we take this concept of transmutation?
Right.
It definitely feels open to interpretation.
Yeah. I think the real takeaway here is that we all possess these immense inner resources, including our passions and desires, which can be harnessed and directed toward achieving our goals.
I like that.
And Hill even connects this idea to the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people,
Right.
forming what he calls a mastermind group.
He uses the example of Andrew Carnegie,
Oh, yes.
who built a team of 50 experts to help him build his steel empire.
Yeah.
It's a real-life testament to the power of collaboration and collective intelligence.
Absolutely.
And it makes you think about who you have in your corner, right?
For sure, yeah. Who are the people you admire, trust, and can learn from?
Yeah.
Even a small group of like-minded individuals can provide invaluable support and accelerate your growth.
So true.
And speaking of obstacles to growth,
Okay.
Hill dedicates a whole chapter to the 6 fears that hold people back.
Wow.
Poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
Those are pretty universal fears.
Yeah, wouldn't you say?
I would say we've all grappled with those fears at some point in our lives.
Right.
But what I appreciate about Hill is that he doesn't just leave us paralyzed by them.
Right.
He provides practical advice on how to overcome them,
Yeah.
emphasizing the power of replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmations and taking action instead of succumbing to worry.
Absolutely.
For example, when it comes to the fear of poverty,
Okay.
he encourages us to develop a definite plan for achieving financial security,
Right.
to actively pursue knowledge and skills that will enhance our earning potential, and to cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity.
Right.
He even suggests taking a close look at our daily habits and routines,
Yeah.
asking ourselves if they are aligned with our goals or if they're inadvertently reinforcing our fears.
Now, are you ready for Hill's most esoteric concept?
Oh, absolutely. Bring on the mind-bending stuff.
He calls it the sixth sense.
Okay.
And describes it as a door to the temple of wisdom.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What exactly is this sixth sense, and how does it relate to success?
Well, Hill believed that this sixth sense is a form of intuition, a deeper knowing that can guide us towards success.
So it's like tapping into a source of wisdom that goes beyond our logical mind.
Exactly. And he shares this fascinating story
Oh, here we go.
about his own invisible counselors.
Okay.
These nightly imagination sessions where he'd basically have meetings with historical figures like Emerson, Lincoln, and Edison.
Wait, he actually had imaginary meetings with historical figures.
I know, right?
That's wild.
It might sound a bit out there, but Hill believed this practice helped him develop his own character and tap into a higher source of wisdom.
Interesting.
Yeah, he would mentally ask them for advice and guidance, almost like a personal mastermind from history.
So is this sixth sense something we can all develop?
Well, Hill suggests that it's a faculty that emerges through consistent application of the other principles he outlines.
Okay.
It's not something you can just turn on like a switch.
Right.
It requires dedicated self-reflection, meditation, and what he calls serious thought.
So it's like a muscle that needs to be developed over time.
Right.
And it sounds like it takes quite a bit of effort and intention to cultivate this sixth sense.
He even says that it rarely kicks in before the age of 40. And often not until after 50.
Really?
It's like this hidden potential that unfolds over time as we gain experience and wisdom.
Wow, fascinating. So while we're working on developing our sixth sense, let's circle back to those fears we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
Hill really delves into the debilitating effects of fear, especially the fear of poverty.
Right.
And he says it can manifest as indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, and even overcaution.
He paints a really vivid picture of how this fear can just paralyze people, making them settle for less than they deserve.
Yeah.
He even quotes an article about the devastating impact of unemployment during the Depression, describing how it can erode a person's self-respect and sense of worth.
It's not just about the lack of money.
Right.
It's the psychological weight that comes with it.
Absolutely.
The fear of poverty can become a self-fulfilling prophecy if we let it control our thoughts and actions.
Yeah, he even goes as far as to say that fear is contagious.
He does.
He does. He talks about how negative and destructive thoughts can be transmitted from one person to another, just like sound waves on a radio.
Oh, wow.
So being around negative people can actually infect us with their fears and limitations.
It makes you want to be more mindful of the company you keep.
Absolutely. And that's why Hill stresses the importance of guarding our minds against negative influences.
Okay.
Even calling it the devil's workshop, suggesting that it can sabotage our efforts to achieve success in any area of life.
Yeah.
And he provides a whole list of questions for us to ask ourselves to assess our susceptibility to negative influences.
So it's like a self-audit.
Right.
To see if we're letting negativity creep into our minds.
Exactly.
Things like, do you tolerate negative or discouraging influences which you can avoid? Or are you easily influenced by others against your own judgment?
It's pretty thought-provoking stuff.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's all about becoming aware of the thoughts and beliefs that are shaping our reality.
Right.
And then consciously choosing to replace the negative ones with positive, empowering ones.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to the concept of autosuggestion, right?
Exactly. Hill was a big believer in the power of autosuggestion, which is basically using affirmations to reprogram our subconscious minds. And he even says you have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts.
And he uses Henry Ford as a prime example of someone who mastered this principle, saying Ford has a mind and controls it. The others have minds which they do not try to control.
Ford's unwavering belief in himself and his vision is what allowed him to achieve what seemed impossible to others.
So Hill seems to be saying that our thoughts create our reality.
Mm-hmm.
If we can control our thoughts,
right.
we can control our destiny.
Yeah.
It's a powerful concept.
It is.
And it connects to the idea of self-belief and the importance of cultivating a positive mindset.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, how does Hill's perspective on America's abundance and opportunity tie into all of this?
Hill was a staunch advocate for the American dream, but he saw it as more than just material wealth.
Right.
He believed that America's vast resources and entrepreneurial spirit offered these unparalleled opportunities for personal growth and fulfillment.
So he wasn't just talking about getting rich financially, but also rich in experience and opportunity.
Exactly.
I like that.
He even breaks it down to the basics,
Okay.
talking about how easy it is to get a cheap and delicious breakfast in America,
Okay.
thanks to organized capital and efficient systems.
So he's using that example to highlight the interconnectedness of the economy.
Right.
And how wealth is generated through collaboration, innovation, and service.
Precisely. He emphasizes the importance of a "we are obligingly at your service, sir" attitude,
Okay.
contrasting it with what he calls a public be damned mentality that he believes ultimately leads to stagnation.
So he saw true success as being built on a foundation of service and cooperation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He even criticizes what he calls legalized racketeers.
Okay.
These politicians who exploit the system for personal gain.
Gotcha.
And he's not afraid to challenge the shorter hours and more pay mentality of some labor unions,
Okay.
arguing that it goes against this principle of providing value in exchange for rewards.
Right.
He even points to the Great Depression. As a consequence of widespread greed and the desire to reap without sowing,
He doesn't hold back.
he doesn't.
But it sounds like his critique comes from a place of deep belief in the potential of the American system.
Yes, he firmly believed that America's free market system, despite its flaws, offered incredible opportunities for those who are willing to work hard, provide value, and play by the rules.
Yeah.
He even calls out those demanding government relief without putting in the effort.
It sounds like a pretty bold stance for his time.
Yeah.
Especially considering the political and economic climate of the Great Depression.
He was definitely ahead of his time in some ways.
I think so, too.
Now, beyond his social commentary,
Okay.
Hill provides a very detailed list of 30 major causes of failure.
Oh, yeah, that list is gold.
Which I found incredibly insightful.
It is.
Yeah.
He lists things like lack of a well-defined purpose,
Right.
lack of ambition to excel beyond the average, procrastination, fear of criticism, and even overcaution
Yeah.
as roadblocks to success.
It's like a checklist of things to avoid
It is.
if you want to achieve your goals.
What's interesting is that many of these causes of failure
Yeah.
are rooted in mindset and attitude
Right.
rather than external circumstances.
It emphasizes the power of our thoughts and beliefs in shaping our reality.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's basically saying that we often sabotage ourselves with our own negative thinking.
Exactly.
And that's why he stresses the importance of self-analysis and continuous self-improvement.
Yeah.
He even provides a list of questions for daily self-reflection, prompting us to evaluate our actions, our thoughts, and our overall progress.
It's like he's holding up a mirror
He is.
and challenging us to take a long, hard look at ourselves.
What are our weaknesses?
Yeah.
What are we doing to improve? Are we living up to our potential?
Right.
Yeah.
He also encourages us to be more deliberate about our personal development.
But
He suggests planning out our time, budgeting our expenses, and continually seeking knowledge and skills that will enhance our value in the marketplace. He even encourages us to be more strategic about job hunting,
okay.
advocating for a planned approach rather than just taking whatever comes along.
Right.
He says, the person who reaches a definite decision to procure the particular job and make life pay the price he asks does not stake his life on that decision. He stakes his economic freedom.
So he's saying that we shouldn't just passively wait for opportunities to come our way,
Right.
but to actively seek them out and be willing to put in the work to achieve our goals.
Absolutely.
And he also stresses the importance of lifelong learning,
Oh, huge.
especially in today's rapidly changing world, doesn't he?
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
He says, the person who stops studying merely because he has finished school is forever hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, no matter what may be his calling. The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge.
And he even suggests that taking home study courses can give you an edge in the job market, demonstrating your commitment to growth and self-improvement.
It's all about taking initiative and investing in yourself.
It really is.
He provides those inspiring examples of people who use their knowledge and skills to create opportunities for themselves, even during challenging economic times like the Depression.
He talks about a salesman who started his own bookkeeping business,
Yeah.
recognizing a need and filling it.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not just victims of circumstance.
Right.
We have the power to create our own opportunities,
Exactly.
even in the face of adversity.
So ultimately, Hill's Think and Grow Rich is so much more than just the book about money.
I think so.
It's a blueprint for a fulfilling life, a guide to unlocking your potential, and a powerful reminder that you are the master of your own destiny.
And that's what makes this book so timeless and relevant even today.
It really is. He challenges you to think deeply about what you want and how you're going to get it.
Yeah.
He doesn't just offer vague platitudes.
Right.
He gives you concrete tools and strategies to apply in your own life.
And one of the things I appreciate about Hill's approach is that he emphasizes the importance of aligning your actions with your beliefs. He's not just about positive thinking. He's about aligning your thoughts with concrete actions that move you closer to your goals.
He's all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
And speaking of walking the walk,
Yeah.
remember that whole burning desire thing we talked about earlier?
Right.
Well, Hill argues that it's not enough to just have that burning desire.
Right.
You need to transmute it into what he calls definiteness of purpose.
Definiteness of purpose is like taking that raw energy of desire and focusing it like a laser beam toward a specific goal.
Yeah.
It's about knowing exactly what you want and having a clear plan for achieving it.
It's about moving from a vague sense of wanting something to a crystal clear vision of what you're going to create in your life.
Yeah.
And this ties into another key principle. Hill emphasizes faith.
Okay. Now, when Hill talks about faith, he's not necessarily talking about religious faith.
Okay.
He's talking about a deep belief in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. He even suggests that faith can be this powerful force that can actually influence the material world.
So it's like believing in something so strongly that it actually becomes reality.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about cultivating an unshakable belief in your vision and then taking consistent action toward its realization.
It's almost like creating a self-fulfilling prophecy through the power of belief.
Right.
And this brings us to another fascinating concept Hill explores: the power of the subconscious mind.
Oh, yeah.
He argues that our subconscious mind is incredibly powerful
Incredibly.
and that we can actually program it to work for us rather than against us.
He suggests that we can do this through techniques like autosuggestion, which is basically repeatedly feeding your subconscious mind with positive affirmations and visualizations of your desired outcomes.
So it's like planting seeds in your subconscious mind and then
Yeah.
nurturing them with positive thoughts and beliefs.
Exactly.
I like that analogy.
And over time, these seeds will take root and begin to manifest in your reality. Hill even goes so far as to say that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
It suggests that we have far more control over our lives and our destinies than we often realize.
Absolutely.
But with that power comes responsibility.
Right.
Hill emphasizes the importance of using this power for good
Mm-hmm.
and aligning our desires with ethical principles.
He definitely believed that true success was not just about personal gain, but also about contributing to the well-being of others.
He even talks about the importance of going the extra mile
Right.
and providing more value than you receive.
Yeah.
And he believed that this was not only an ethical imperative, but also a sound business strategy.
He argued that by focusing on providing exceptional value to others, you ultimately create more abundance for yourself as well.
It's a win-win philosophy.
Right.
You create value for others, and in turn, you receive value back.
Absolutely.
And this brings us back to Hill's secret to success.
Yeah.
After delving into all of these principles, do you think we've uncovered what he was hinting at all along?
I think so. I believe Hill's secret is not a single formula or technique, but rather a holistic approach to life that encompasses cultivating a powerful mindset, harnessing the power of your subconscious mind, taking consistent action toward your goals, and aligning your desires with ethical principles.
It's about understanding that success is not just about what you achieve externally, but also about who you become in the process.
It's about developing your character, expanding your consciousness, and living a life of purpose and meaning.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives?
I think the most important takeaway is that success is not something that happens to you, it's something you create.
Yeah.
It's about taking ownership of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions.
It's about cultivating a burning desire for what you want,
Right.
developing a clear vision for your future,
Mm-hmm.
and then taking consistent, focused action toward its realization.
It's about surrounding yourself with supportive people, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and never giving up on your dreams.
And perhaps most importantly,
Yeah,
it's about believing in yourself and your ability to achieve anything you set your mind to.
absolutely.
So what resonated most with you during this deep dive?
Yeah.
What will you apply to your own life? What's your burning desire? And what steps will you take to make it a reality?
Right.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
Hill has given you the tools. Now it's up to you to use them.
And as Hill himself said, the way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.